Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, the old captain here, and another video request. Always go to assholeconsulting.com if you want the truth. And this guy does want the truth, so I'm not gonna rip him apart too much, but because he doesn't know what he's doing, frankly. Hi Aaron, I hope you are well. Recently I started watching your videos, and I find your perspective intriguing and refreshingly different from the mainstream. I'm therefore curious to know your take on my situation. I am 25 years old and will soon be finishing my PhD in abstract math. My time has been spent at a good university. It is consistently placed highly at a place we won't say. When I chose to study math, my motivations were not financial. I simply loved the subject. However, spending 8.5 years at university has not been a financial disaster. As my PhD was funded, the education system waived my tuition fees and gives me an annual maintenance payment of 23 grand a year. I also make money tutoring undergraduates, and therefore make around 60 grand a year in total. My income is also not taxed. Oh, how nice. How fucking nice that must be, working in academia and not having your income taxed. It's like Legoland. You get to play with the kids. Do you join the adults ever? My first question for you is this. Would you consider my life up to this point parasitic? I ask because on the one hand, you seem to have a disdain for academia. On the other hand, you hold math in high regard. Let's put it this way. Up to this point, yes, it has been totally parasitic. This is some of you academians. I want you to share this with your other academician buddies who are intellectually honest. What value does academians in any field bring to society if all you do is merely theorize and teach? You never have any practical application outside of academia. Now, you bring up a valid point, which is later on in your email, that while your particular variant of math is not particularly applicable, it's very theoretical, that doesn't mean it wouldn't come to help out at some point in time in the future, which is true. So this is why I will give mathematics, STEM, and science at least more credit than absolute pissing away of people's resources and taxpayers' monies where you go study women's studies or the liberal arts. So at some point in time that maybe your hobby finally gets around to being discovered 200 years later, that maybe could possibly, at one point in time, maybe, well, okay, yeah, that's a minor saving grace. But for the most part, you're just a pontificator. You are literally a professor. You prophesize. You do nothing. Right? You professorialize, I guess is the more accurate verb. So yeah, at this point in your life, you are worthless. And not only worthless, you're a parasite because you're not paying taxes. I presume the university you go to is subsidized by the taxpayer somehow. What are you giving in return? So far, you've been in school for a goddamn, well, not a quarter century. You start at 5. For 20 years. When do you enter the real world? So that is the one question. I mean, that right now, yes, your point has been pretty and parasitic because you haven't contributed and you have taken from society and not given more back. And if everyone did that, society would collapse. My second question is more simply: do you think I've made a mistake, bearing in mind the fact that my education has not been a financial problem? Have I still wasted my time? No, because here's where that saving grace of math comes from. You're obviously no idiot. You are trained in STEM, and you can put your mathematical mind to productive, profitable, contributing purposes in society. So now what that is, you obviously know your industry better than me, but it's not like you got your doctorate in literature. It's not like you have a PhD in women's studies. You have a skill. You could go into programming, you could do actuarial analysis, you could program computer. Obviously, you could go a lot of different places. But that is up to you. Like, do you want to go work in the private sector? Do you want to write some books? Do you want to start your own company? That will determine it. But yes, as of right now, you have been sitting in school this entire time, and you have been living in not the real world. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. You could be, the other thing you could do is you could become a great professor. I mean, that's about the only way you could stay in there and actually make some changes to some, not the way leftists and socialists, like, I want to brainwash. When professors say change lives, they mean brainwash. But if you can become a phenomenal professor where you take and make calculus easy and you start generating more and more engineers, like if you could get 10 kids per class that would normally drop out because calculus was too hard, but you could teach it in such an easy way that they would pass and become great engineers, then you are actually contributing. But I'm sorry, academia, especially government subsidized and paid for academia, is just worthless. It's just fucking worthless. You guys have a horrible track record. It's a playground where the adults go and they just, it's like becoming a pastor to avoid Vietnam or running off to Canada back in the 60s and 70s. So anyway, yeah, it's all balls in your court, man. Do what you want with it. Anyway, best of luck. Toodles.